This conference will now be recorded.
The Cottage Grove Town Board will hold a public meeting beginning at 7 p.m. on Monday, February 17th, 2025 at the Town Hall, 4058 County Road N. You can also join the meeting by GoToMeeting. We have a quorum present. The meeting was posted at the Town Hall and on the website. I'll call the meeting to order and we'll stand for the flag pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You have the minutes of the January 20th meeting in your pack.
Move approval as presented.
Second. Motion by Williams, second by Duplay to approve the minutes for January 20th, 2025 as presented. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Finance report and approval of bills.
So there's a few checks that we sent out about the time of the canceled January 20th meeting because they were due before this meeting.
February 3rd.
Or February 3rd, sorry.
Yeah.
Whatever date it was. And yeah, January 20th was the last meeting. And then you'll also see the school district checks that are in there for the February tax settlement and most of the
Overpayments.
So it's a big one.
Still have one to make though.
I do have one overpayment that the escrow company paid twice and I haven't been able to get an answer where to send the overpayment to yet, so.
Yeah.
That'll be next time.
Wow.
Make a motion that we approve checks 37,632 to 37,724. Voiding check 37,572 because it was lost, and paying $40,515.55 in EFT payments.
There's a motion by Duplay. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Fonger to approve checks 37,632 through 37,724 with check 37,572 voided because it was lost in the EFT payment of $40,515.55. Any discussion on that motion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. You also have the unaudited cash and investment balance of $4,199,971.26. And you have the December through January 17th credit card charges in your packet, per diems and building permits.
There's 17 windows and it's costing $35,000. Wow.
I move approval of the building permits as presented.
Second.
Motion by Anders, second by Duplay to approve the building permits as presented. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Per diems.
I move approval per diems as presented.
Motion by Williams,
Second.
second by Fonger to approve the January per diems as presented.
Thanks, Christie.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. You also have the January and the February court docket report. And you have your December and January financial statements.
Does anyone happen to know, I was reading the collection percentages, for the different years coming forward. Like there's still 6.5% of whatever was supposed to be collected all the way back to 2016.
Right.
Does that stay there forever and ever, or do they
It's all-
finally write it off?
It's with the SDC, State Debt Collection System. And so that's the oldest year that we were able to submit for. And yeah, I don't know if they eventually write it off or not, but they do a good job collecting.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm aware that they do, but I didn't know if they just
Yeah.
finally give up on it or
I
what
believe
kind
it
of thing.
stays on until they have a tax refund and then we get it.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you get, people that moved out of the state and you'll never see that probably, but
Sure.
I'll see if Danielle knows the answer to that question.
Okay.
All right, moving on. Next item is public concerns. Public's opportunity to speak to town board about any subject that is not a specific agenda item. Yes, ma'am.
Hi, I have one. I'm here from the Brazen Dropout Cycling Club. We will be presenting a formal permit application to hold a bike race, but I wanted to come tonight to get kind of preliminary feedback about what we can do to make it more exciting and interesting and approachable for the community. So basically, most of the bike race would be in the town of Pleasant Springs, but there's a small triangle of the course consisting of a little bit of Shadle Road and a little bit of North Star Road, kind of in that point where they cross into the town of Cottage Grove.
Right.
So those roads are the part that would be in Cottage Grove, and we're looking to do a one-way road closure on that. So that would mean on Shadle Road, we would stop westbound traffic. And on North Star Road, we would stop southbound traffic. And have a route around or a detour or something. But traffic in the opposite direction would still keep going. So that's the idea. Not a formal agenda item, but I wanted to just be here and see if, does anyone have any immediate concerns that I can write down, or, ideas to make this better, feedback, general opinions, just so that when I put the application together, it's a little bit more complete and better for you all.
This is for in August.
Yes, in August.
I guess my problem is closing a road for if there's fire, EMS,
Right.
police.
Yes.
We don't normally do that. I don't think we ever have it.
We have the Ragnar race, you know, that runs from Chicago all the way through to the North Pole or someplace far, far away.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's literally thousands of bicyclists that are riding for what, an 8 or a 10 or a 12-hour period
Wow.
for that, and we don't close the road for that.
Right.
Actually, those are runners, aren't they?
No, Ragnar is runners on the bike trail, but I think you're thinking of something else.
Maybe
What's the
brag.
bike race where they're always,
Oh,
there's one that,
Ragbri? Maybe you think of Ragbri is a bike race.
No.
Anyway,
You're thinking of a different one, but yeah,
Yeah.
there is another one that runs all through this part of the town and then it ends up going out Vilas and, yeah, and we don't
close any roads
we
for
don't
that
close
at all.
anything for
Mhm.
that.
any particular reason why they want the road closed?
yes. So we did not used to do road closures. But we did a survey of people who had never done a bike race but wanted to, asking them about why they had never done a bike race, because we're trying to like bring more people into the sport. And 85+% of participants or would-be participants said that the reason they'd never done it was because they were worried about getting hit by a car. Because
They
it,
never ride their bike on the road ever?
right, basically, they mostly ride on the bike paths. But it's not safe to have a race on the bike paths because, you know, people are running and walking dogs. So it's really hard to find a way for people to do a competitive version of bike riding that's safe. So, that's why we're trying to find this year a venue where we can do the one-way road closure so that cyclists there will still be traffic flowing from behind the race that can pass around and keep going, but there won't be any oncoming traffic to the race. So trying to make it safer, and also because last year we hosted the race in New Glarus, and we didn't have a road closure for that race, but it's not safe for the cars either. Because if you have a large group of like 50, 100 cyclists who are all together, they block your vision just like a semi-truck would. And so if you're trying to pass them, and then, you know, there's a hill or something, and we had almost an accident where a car was trying to pass the bike race into an oncoming car, and it's super dangerous because then you've got 2 cars and a bunch of people. So anyway, that's why we want to try to do the one-way road closure so that it's safer for everybody.
Have you brought it up to the EMS and the sheriff's department already?
Yeah, it's a one-way road closure except for emergency vehicles. Like we would have these course marshals at each intersection. Obviously, an emergency vehicle, they would let them through, and we'd radio to there's 2 cars or mopeds with the race. You'd radio and be like, "Hey, pull over the race. There's an EMS vehicle coming through," and then they'd let them through and all that. So.
Is this for profit or a nonprofit?
Oh, it's nonprofit. Yeah.
Is it timed?
Yep. Yeah, and it's different than like, I know a lot of people are familiar with like the Ironman or the Horribly Hilly 100 and stuff like that, where it's like a lot of people strung out over many, many miles and many, many hours. This is more like if you've ever watched like the Tour de France on YouTube or something. Well, not that good, but but the idea being
Not that, I'm just worried about someone sitting there with a sign and.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
But it's
causing an
like,
accident.
instead of a bunch of people who are strung out over hours and hours, it's like a very tightly knit pack of people who are traveling at like an average of 25, 30 miles an hour, all in a group, doing circles of a smallish course. And they do that for like a few hours and then they're done. So that's kind of what it would be like.
I guess I would like to see in writing that ATC has approved using their
Oh,
parking
yes.
lot. And that the quarry on Rendon Road would be closed,
Yes.
because usually it's open 6 days a week.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So that in writing and the ATC in writing and
Yeah,
then
that
the
they're gonna
EMS,
let you use
EMS.
their,
EMS getting
Parking
through.
Sheriff's
lot.
department.
in their secure area.
Yes.
When do you go before the Pleasant Springs Board?
They've been there
Pleasant
twice.
Springs, so their meeting tomorrow is canceled for the election, so we have to wait another couple weeks. So we're gonna go Pleasant Springs with our formal packet. I think it's like March, it's the first Tuesday in March.
I'd be very surprised if they would approve closing the road totally too.
Yeah, they were very opposed at first, but I've been working pretty closely with them and going to all their meetings, and we're getting to a good spot. So like between now and that meeting, the first Tuesday in March, we're doing a mailing to all the homes and businesses that are on course, and then encouraging them to submit any feedback to me or just to come to the meeting in March for feedback and stuff. So all the homes that are in Cottage Grove will also get that letter. It's just that there's so many fewer. Most of the homes are in Pleasant Springs, but yeah. Well, we got them. They were at first, they were like, no way, Jose. But then after I got the Corey on board, and Corey and ATC on board, they were much more okay with it. So
How
We'll
many
see.
participants do you expect to have?
we're hoping at least 300, maybe more, if we're lucky.
How many have you had in previous years?
About that many. Yep. A little more, like 400, I think, last year.
Always the same time frame.
Yeah, it's almost always been that same weekend in August.
Quick question, did you sign in when you?
Oh no, I missed it.
No, that's because I forgot to put the sign on sheet.
But I'm happy to sign in.
That's you're the one that emailed me.
Yes, I had emailed you, yeah.
I have her information.
Perfect.
You want me to take a sign up sheet? down
No,
there?
I know who everybody is tonight.
But yeah.
People.
She knows
She
people,
does.
right? Any other questions?
Any other, yeah,
Concerns at this point? Okay,
perfect. Okay, Corey, ATC, EMTs. Perfect.
So if she applies now, your meeting will be the night before the Pleasant Springs meeting. Are you gonna want to consider it before or after Pleasant Springs?
Probably after.
After.
Yeah,
well, I mean, we could consider it before and make it contingent
On
on them approving it.
Mhm.
Because they'd meet on the 4th, we'd meet on the 3rd.
Yep. Unless they would have concerns that, might make you think different, that would be.
Or if they had conditions or,
Or do you want to wait and do it on the 17th of March?
St. Patty's Day, why not?
Sure.
I'll wear green.
No green beer. Plan on the 17th of March then?
Sounds good.
Yeah, so just get your packet to me.
Yeah.
Or your application at least a week before that, I guess.
Perfect. Thank you.
And if you would ask Pleasant Springs to send us their minutes
Oh, yeah.
or their action,
Okay.
so we have it for our packet on the 17th to know what they did.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I can do that.
Okay. All right. Anything else under public concerns? Moving on then to review the January police activities.
he was just leaving with his lights on when I came in, so I don't know if you
Had a call. huh?
Yeah,
Eric is on duty.
There was a car off the highway in the snowbank right before the exit to get here. I think that was
Oh.
probably where he was
Oh.
going.
could be.
Any concerns? $185 calls, 126 were handled by the contract. They were busy.
69 citations.
Happened to see Deputy Grafton over the weekend, and they had one on Gaston on the machine at 99.
No,
Had
boy.
one on
99.
and had one on Vilas in the area where the fire chief lives, you know, in that area at 98. She didn't say if it was outbound or inbound, but crazy folks are out there.
Wow. Anything else on January police activities? Hearing none, moving on. Discuss, consider approval of a variance petition by Chris Miller on behalf of property owners Micah and Kim Zelke to allow for a residential addition at 2917 County Highway BB to be just 30 feet from the rear setback. Zoning requires 50 feet. You have the paperwork in your packet. Hello.
Hi.
Are there questions?
I have a question.
Yeah.
Because we have septic tanks and drain fields out here.
Mhm.
And many people have had failures and have had to have something else.
This
Does this,
doesn't impact their second field.
it doesn't?
No.
Okay.
No,
That
it
was
wasn't.
not clear to me as I was reading that, so, okay.
Okay.
Good.
Yep.
It showed it on one of the maps.
What about well? What about if you have a well failure? Is there adequate space to
There
have
is, that's kind of
another?
part of it also. That was one of our restrictions of what direction we could go, but there is access to it to repair it. Yeah. Or back up to it and pull the pump if
Here's
need
their
be.
well,
Uh-huh.
replacement septic in the
Drain
present
field.
day drain
Drain
field.
field.
So they have two locations.
And they're willing to deed restrict the property.
Okay. I did see that, but I was wondering if you have to do a second well. And I say that because our residence is on the third well.
Yeah, well, they have 16 acres to find a spot to
Okay.
do it. So,
That should be safe.
yeah, there's a lot of places. The well is, there's a lot of options for that, but the septic was, I actually we did test holes. We found a second system. We had it inspected. I had the Dane County Sanitarian out there. I got a letter that says the system that's there is good. We can add on the addition that we want or whatever, that's all good. And at the same time, which we aren't really required to at the time, we did do soil tests for a secondary system. And that was another limiting factor of, process elimination gave us one spot.
Of course, he ended up, because of annexation, right on Shady Grove, right on the edge there, which has
East boundary.
changed things a lot there on their property, and they deserve, as far as I'm concerned, whatever they can do.
Oh,
But
I
it's
agree. Yeah.
it's honest, and this is all honest, so I have no problem.
We enjoy our time in the town. You see us walking about all the time and such on that property, so.
Yeah.
And you're okay with the deed restriction that the county wanted?
Yeah, I mean, I don't see any, I guess what does a deed restriction mean exactly, but.
Basically that you're just.
A single family.
It's not gonna be a rental property.
Oh, God, yeah.
New residence.
Yeah.
If you ever
Good.
sell your house.
Yeah.
it's Gotta be one family.
Yep, yeah. If anything, it'll be years from now when Kim and I are living in that little unit, and hopefully one of our kids is owning the house and running the property when we get to that age, so we'll see.
Since Kim is the boss, I'd ask her, you're all satisfied with this, right?
That's the
Okay.
goal. That's the
All right,
goal.
good.
And this makes it so that her mom is all on one, on one floor and can come through.
It's kind of, not ironic, but we drew the addition accordingly with a 30-some foot setback. But at the time, Access Dane had it listed as SFR 08. I have all the correspondence and everything that they said It was a mapping error on there. They have now changed it. But when we looked at the zoning, it said, MRM 16 or whatever it is, and SFR 08. Well, there's no CSM done on it, but there's a lot of things that are spot zoned, around. So you look at access to, we're like, oh, it's SFR 08. Oh, we got 25 foot setback. Excuse me, 25 foot setback. So there should be no problem. We just need to get the septic done, et cetera. And then when we went to submit it for a zoning permit, they're like, well, sorry, we made a mistake. So that's part of it. It ended up not being the ultimate factor, but we didn't think we even had to do this originally. But I understand that.
I mean, as long as they're willing to accept the deed restriction, I don't have any.
I don't have any problems there. I just want to make sure you're protected in case something.
I would make a motion that we approve.
Second.
Motion by Fonger,
Second.
second by Williams to approve the variance for 30 feet rear yard setback instead of 50. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
Great.
And take down the trees.
Thank you. Trees are coming down, my friend. I got you. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Keep being a good neighbor.
Yeah, right?
Next item, discuss and consider terms for renewal of Cash Farm lease for approximately 5 acres south of the former Natvid landfill site. You have the current one.
Yes.
Our renter is here. What checking I was able to do on what leases have been going for, it's right there, and I don't know who else would ever get to use it, that 5 acres, because of its location.
Right.
So
Yeah, so without a significant change in crop prices, which there haven't been in the last 3 years, I was hoping to just renew it at the same terms for another 3 years.
for another 3 years.
We'll go with that if that's fair to the board.
I so move.
Second,
Motion by Williams, second by Duplay to extend the current Cash Farm lease for another 3 years at the same dollar value, which was $168 per acre for a total of $840 annually. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Thank you. Next item, discuss and consider approval of Monona Grove Soccer Cup plans to use the fields at Dan Johnson Memorial, Ravenwood, Bass Park Town Hall for the 2025 spring and fall soccer seasons.
Hi, Marissa Anders, club president. We, just for your information, it's really just a technicality. We did change our name, so we're Monona Grove FC as opposed to Monona Grove Soccer Club.
What is it?
FC.
football club?
Yeah, football club. Going with the European version of the sport. But in any case, we're just hoping to be able to continue to use the same park space that we used for fall season and previous years. Appreciate that you have allowed us to use the Dan Johnson Memorial Park for our games on Saturday mornings. I'm hoping that we can keep all of our games for the younger kids at Town Hall, so we won't have to use that. I know that there's a lot of congestion there. And I hope all of our parents were respectful of the parking in our fall season. Some of that might have to switch based on our MESA schedule, which is our governing body, but if the board would support us to continue to use those fields, that would be great.
I think it's a great idea. I love to have kids playing soccer, football in our parks. The one thought that I have is we are planning to have a solar installation on the south side here
Okay,
this year, this spring,
okay,
and on the salt shed, so
okay.
hopefully.
Parking might be more of an issue.
Well, I'm just worried about the kids and
It's gonna be ground mounted right out here, so.
Okay,
the
most of the
concern
kids
is
are
that-
all down by the field anyway. They're not really up by the parking
They're throwing the
lot.
rocks
They
on the
love the
side hill.
playground equipment. The younger
Yeah.
siblings love that stuff. So that was a really great addition. But yeah, there weren't really kids up by the parking lot at all. If anything, they're rolling down the hill behind the building. So
But-
I don't think that'll be a problem,
Just so that the families are aware
certainly.
and to have the kids.
Stay off of the solar,
I
absolutely.
guess I'd prefer just doing 1 year at a time, spring and fall,
Okay.
for the entire year rather than adding spring of 26 in.
That's totally fine. I'm happy to come next spring as well, or
Okay.
whoever my predecessor may be.
Are you good with continuing to split the weed and feed costs for this
Absolutely.
field out here?
Absolutely. Mhm.
I move approval of Monona Grove Soccer Club to be using the fields as stated
For the 25
for the
years.
25 season only.
And that they will share the cost. of feed and feed.
But they've done that in the past.
I would
Continue
second
to
it.
agree to it.
Motion by Duplace, second by Williams to approve soccer club's use of American Heritage, Ravenwood, and Bass in the town hall for the 2025 seasons and splitting the cost of the weed and feed for the town hall. Any discussion on that motion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Have fun.
Thank you. Kim, when I have our final schedules, I'll send them to you as well.
Next item, discuss and consider a letter of support of a BEAD grant application by Frontier Communications to extend fiber into a portion of the town.
So I don't think the big map got in your packet. If you can see up there, what you're looking at is just this very west portion of the town. Oh, you did get
We
it.
did
Guess
get
I
it.
just didn't get one. Okay.
Oh, yeah, we got it. We got it.
It's just very hard to see.
Well, it doesn't look like there's very much in the town.
No.
The way I look at it, it's like there are about 4, 5.
I think he said like, what did he say, 18? And he is online. I assume that's who that is.
Good evening, Todd Cruz at Frontier Communications.
And we do have a sample from the town of Liberty Grove as to their letter in support of
Yeah, but for some reason,
Frontier's request, which you could use as a sample or
you're not hearing him when he's talking.
Hello?
Great.
Thank you.
Did that work?
Yes, it did.
I didn't touch anything. Todd Cruz at Frontier Communications.
This conference will now be recorded.
okay, now
All right.
we're good.
You can go ahead.
Okay, I appreciate it. I know there's a lot of acronyms involved. I appreciate your time and public service. BEAD stands for the Broadband Equity Access and Deployment Program. It's a federal program. All 50 states have some entity managing it. For Wisconsin, it's the PSC, which doubles as the Wisconsin Broadband Office. It's all housed, together. Internet service providers pursue grant applications for what's deemed grant eligible locations. So for this project, it covers around 200 what's called BSLs, broadband serviceable locations. For instance, if you go down a street and there's a house, that would be a BSL. If the lot next to it has a grain silo, that's not a BSL, unless the owner wants, fiber connection there. The grant program is designed to subsidize high-cost remote areas for whatever reason, like we've found homes that are in the middle of a state forest. So there's quite a range of, geography out there. But our project would be around 200 locations. It covers 5 different community anchor institutions. If you have others that you want defined, we're happy to look at a network map and see, from a network design perspective. Examples of community anchor institutions are, the classic is the volunteer fire department, a town hall building, a health, a medical clinic, schools. We've identified a healthcare clinic, some schools, and an assisted living center. And the project, is basically in the Sun Prairie area where we have built fiber, and it extends it into more remote areas and higher cost areas. So that's a quick overview. I can give you an overview of Frontier and the network we design, or just field your questions. I want to respect your time.
Thank you. I think we should support it.
I have a question.
Yep.
Did you happen to basically survey the underserved or not served part of the township to find out how many folks are either on DSL yet or that would potentially benefit from your program?
Yeah, so 2 things. It's not our program, it's the broadband office managing the federal law.
Correct.
So
Yeah.
take your pick of internet service providers. We all have different business plans, different cultures, different network design, a lot of different companies pursuing it. Dane County has a broadband manager, and the county requires evidence of local support before the county endorses anyone. So they're going through that process. So I just wanted to paint that picture for you. The green dots you see here are both defined as unserved and underserved based on speed levels. We do not define that. Originally, it was defined by an FCC map, and then each state broadband office did their surveying, speed test, a variety of things. Another thing called a challenge process, where a community organization could challenge locations and say, there is no way you're supplying, X service. That's what's called the challenge process. The internet service providers then had to present evidence that said what was being offered and what the speed was. So what we do, we look at the state broadband map. The broadband office calls them Lego blocks. The terms project area units. So, here's a unit, you piece them together, and then you're obligated to serve every location within a project area unit. For this project, there's 4 of those involved. So our application would be those 4 units, and it's called, I'll really bore you here, it's called non-separable. So we would say, here's our application, we'd serve all 4 project area units as one package. And then Frontier itself, we offer nationwide pricing. We're in 25 states. So all of our fiber broadband customers get the benefit of competition around the country. A real common speed is 1 gig over 1 gig. That's symmetrical. So 1 gig up, 1 gig down. We offer that at $64.99 a month if you auto pay. Speeds range from 200 over 200 up to 7 gig. So that's the range of speeds and prices with that. You can see it at frontier.com/shop. But the short answer is we don't determine the locations. They're determined by the broadband office map. And I guess as long as I'm talking, I'll give you the full footnote here. Our project, as I said, is about 200 locations. But if we win a grant, or whoever wins a grant, you build construction with your own dollars, So it's a subsidy to build these high-cost areas, plus your own construction dollars, what we call synergy. So every project is bigger than the initial numbers. And I'm going to give you a real example. We have a grant and a public-private partnership in Door County with the town of Jacksonport. The original project was 560 locations. And we're now probably going to be complete by May. It's looking at 1,260 that we're going to build. So it's 560 plus 700.
In what period of time does that represent?
So with Jacksonport or the
Yes,
VEED
the
program?
Jacksonport.
So Jacksonport, they had a few requirements, like our engineering plan had to be approved by the town because it was a public-private partnership. Then we had to do a town hall meeting. So we got construction going. It was November of 24, and we plan to have, the bulk of the construction done by May 1 because of their, seasonal tourism season. The BEAT program itself is a completely different time frame mandated by federal law.
How many units are there in the town of Cottage Grove?
5.
Just 5?
Well,
That is many.
the last map I saw, we've identified 6.
Yeah.
But, the example is, say you're going down Elm Street and there's 2 grant eligible locations, but there's 10 homes on that street. Our network would be designed to capture all 10 so that people would have the choice. You simply don't build a network to 2 grant eligible locations. And that's the idea of synergy. And they're spread out, like you can see on the map. All of those green dots are your high cost, remote, or antiquated technology. Whatever reason, that's what's on there. The red dots are the community anchor institutions, which that's really an important part of the scoring criteria on the grants. If the town itself has other CAIs, they're called, that we should consider, that's what we would weave into our grant application. We did that with Liberty Grove. We had a list of 5 based on the broadband office map, and Liberty Grove said, what about these 3? So we researched the addresses, and it turns out one was eligible, and 2 other locations were in close proximity to where we'd run the network. So now it's 8 instead of 5. And again, that's just a conversation. We're not wedded to it because it's basically a community project managed by the broadband office.
It doesn't affect us very much.
Yeah, I made a commitment to Dane County. I'd talk to every government involved. So it's spread out across 5 communities.
Any action?
Say we support it.
I agree.
Sure.
Yes,
Is that a motion?
it is.
I'll second that.
Motion by Anders, second by Duplay to support Frontier's bid grant application. Any discussion on that motion?
What do you want? This letter is quite detailed. I don't think we have
No.
we
as
don't.
much detail to put into it. Do you just want to leave that up to Chris and I to draft something?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just supplied that because it's tangible. We won an RFP there, and we signed a memorandum of understanding with Liberty Grove. So just wanted to at least share something tangible with you.
All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Thank you.
Appreciate your time and your public service. Thank you.
Next item, discuss and consider approval of estimate to repair the 2010 International Patrol Truck. And
It's
you're
not really an
on.
estimate anymore, right?
It's not an estimate, it's done.
Uh-oh.
Well, we had to have a truck fixed, so not much we can do about it.
So you paid the whole 16,000 then?
Well, I don't know if the check's been written yet, but
No, I don't
no.
know.
So back in March of last year, in October last year, I took that truck up for a health review, because the year before, we spent a bunch of money on it in 22 and late 23. Yeah, well, anyway, last 4 years, we spent a lot of money on this truck to get basically stuff done with the coolant. You know, it was a couple EGR failures, EGR control. 1 year was DPF filter and turbo, you know, and it just never ends with these older trucks.
He's giving us to death.
You haven't had to renew anything you've done in the last couple of years, have you?
Yeah, the EGRs got done 2 years in a row.
Is there a reason for that, or?
They warranted the second year
Oh,
on the EGR,
okay, so-
that was
So that was
replaced
done
the
for
prior
nothing.
year. Well, that part, but there was other stuff that got done too at that point.
So it's almost a brand new truck with this 16,000 here, huh?
The what?
It's almost like a brand new truck.
It's a
Well-
new motor.
Yeah,
Everything but the block is brand new on this
Yeah.
truck in the last 4 years.
how's the rust?
It's there. It's 15 years old.
Yeah, underneath it, showing outside,
Not bad, no. I mean, the cab's rust free. The frames are what show the rust. That's
Yeah.
about it. I mean, other than that, it's a good looking truck.
so what is it actually worth now?
We're hoping to get 60,000 out of it when we sell it this summer.
What did we get for the last one? 35, 40?
50, 54, 52, something like that. And that was 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
I think-
was online and looked at the value of these trucks. I think you should be able to get that based on what I saw online.
Yeah, you'd think, but you watch Wisconsin surplus, they don't go very high. But I'm pretty confident with the 60,000. But ours seem to be a little better shape than some of them that are sitting over in Mount Horeb right now. I've stopped personally and looked at some trucks out there when I was heading back to Belmont, so
Good for you.
it's ours are usually typically a little nicer. But I think this was an underlying problem from a couple years ago. It just kind of crept up on us and never showed itself till now. We were out plowing the one time and I got a stoplight showed up on the dash. And I didn't know what this quite was for, because we had no check engine light or nothing previous. And all it was an overpressure on the coolant system. So I was like, can I still drive it? And the guy's like, well, you can drive it here.
Yeah.
So that's why I took it up there a couple weeks ago, and they couldn't find any problems. And so I said, well, you got to dive in into deeper and find it. Got to know what's causing it, and found it. And
Where-
two cracked valves in the head.
Where's this money coming from? In his account, or
Better not. I think you
Do
would
we have
have to
money
take
left?
it from undesignated.
we still, how are we doing there? What do we have?
Our budget's at 19,500 for
Yeah,
that's all maintenance on vehicles.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That would wipe it out.
We cut that a
we've
couple
already
years ago.
spent 2,800, so you got $16,193 and some change left for the year, so this 16,900
Wouldn't all fit.
would have to, I would think you'd have to take it out of undesignated.
What do we have?
I mean.
We don't even know, do we?
We just
Did
had
the
the
audit.
auditors here last week, so
Yeah.
I mean, we'll see how this year adds or subtracts from it. I think you'll have enough to do this.
We should
I'm
have.
not worried about having enough to do this. I would suggest that, right now you just make a motion to say that, because like we did that cleanup budget amendment last time,
Right.
and just make a motion saying that whatever, up to $16,000 of overage in that budget would be used for unassigned funds, and then we just clean that up at the end of the year. Acknowledging that you're allowing that maintenance budget to go over by the 16,000.
What was the exact amount?
16,997.
Yeah.
97
So it's like
cents.
17,000?
Almost
Just about
17,000.
$100 short.
Make a motion no more than 17,000 then, I
Second.
guess, right? I'll make that motion,
Motion
yeah.
by Fonger, second by DePlay, no more than
17,000,
17,000.
Out of undesignated fund.
Yeah.
Undesignated funds, discussion. Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carried. Next item, discuss and consider replacing patrol trucks every 12 years instead of every 15.
Well, we talked about it before. I think it came up in discussion last time we had to look for a new truck. 'Cause the last two internationals have just killed us in the last 3 years that we owned them.
But we're not doing internationals next anymore though, are we?
Our next truck's not, but we still have 2 of them in the shop.
Internationals?
Yeah.
The reason that we've done 5 years is because we've always done a 5-year loan, and then when that's done, we do another, so I mean, you could do 4 shorter loans, I guess.
It'd be a 1 year shorter loan, basically.
Yeah,
Be a 4-year term. You get three trucks, so it turned into 12 years. It's just, yeah, it's just, I mean, I'm hoping these other two are a lot better because the newest one, the 2020's got a Cummins in it with an Alice transmission, so that should be a lot better. One before that, the 15 has got the whole redesigned motor because the one that's in it now is the 2010 that we're having problems with is the Max Force. Well, that was International's worst engine ever produced.
Oh.
So, the Max Force 10, and then the 15 has the newer version, but it's not called the Max Force anymore, and it's a centrifugal motor. It's got a different style of glow plugs and everything like that in it, so has its own issues that we could deal with later, but we don't know. So hopefully not.
So the internationals were the best buy when we got all these?
Yeah, I'm sure they were the lowest bid, yeah. They always have been. And they've always been good to deal with. I mean, they really do get us in and take care of us, but I don't know. I don't like spending $16,000 at a pop.
I know, but I guess, you know, this could be a once and done thing too.
Yeah.
It hasn't happened to us in the past.
If you have Kim look up the bills on this truck alone, truck 3, which we have everything itemized at International, I think this has costed us $60,000 in the last 4 years.
could be.
Wow. I'm pretty sure it's pretty
Oh,
close to that.
Oh, I'm not, yeah, but I'm just saying, I don't know
The
that.
last truck, didn't we kind of have the same thing
Yeah,
where we
with
had a lot
that.
of trouble right at the end?
With that 05, we spent a lot of money on it in the last couple of years. I bet that was upwards of 40 probably on that truck.
What kind of miles do you put on it?
It's got 47,000 on it right now.
And it's a 2010?
Yep.
Jesus,
That's not
it's
that many
nothing.
miles a
It's
year.
nothing.
No,
It should get 3 times that.
should, but we work these things hard when they're out there working. You know, they're pushing a lot of tonnage and we ask them to sit around all year and then show up this week, right? You know, for the snow. That's a lot to ask for a vehicle that sits around. It's the worst thing you can do with them is just let them sit. But I mean, we really don't have that much, you know, other than hauling gravel and stuff in the summer. We try to use them for hauling brush and stuff like that too, but yeah.
I guess you gotta be like a fire truck and get it out every week and run it some and
Well, like
that's what they do.
compost has really helped because we haul a lot of compost now. We
Yeah.
haul compost weekly. But I mean, at least that gets them out and turns them, you know, and gets the oil cycled. I mean, we change oil on them every year. We do filters, all the filters, air cleaners, everything. So, I mean, regardless how much they get used, they get serviced.
Maybe we should lease our trucks to Houston for a week or so.
They're not big enough for them, probably.
I just thought I'd bring it up for discussion again. You know, it's worth a thought.
But so we're gonna get rid of this truck this summer
Yeah, this one will be gone, yeah.
and the other two are down the way.
Yeah, 15 will be the next one in 5 years. And that one so far, when it was under warranty, it had the top end of the engine replaced already. So that one's had a lot of work done to it already once, but that was their call because that was a recall from them.
Oh, wow.
So, and that one's been good right now.
change it,
action.
leave
We made
it
the
the way
motion,
it
didn't
is?
we? Or-
Yeah.
Let's just say that
Yeah.
we visited. I'd
We
say
can
motion to
revisit
table.
it.
What's that, Mike?
We can revisit it.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking. You know,
When or?
I mean,
Maybe over the summer.
Budget
Or
time
3
or
years.
before the next repair?
Before the,
Yeah, I mean, if you did
Before you
bump
send
up,
it in for repair.
if you change this, then you'd be looking to replace it, instead of 30, you'd be looking at
28, right?
27, right? Because you're saying 12 years.
Oh, yeah, 27.
So if you were looking to put that switch,
Revisit it in the spring of 27.
think of, yeah,
27.
And you book a truck for 28, then I think that would be smartest. For this one.
so, well, so if you want to replace it in 27, you'd want to talk about it when you do the 27 budget, right?
Yeah,
So,
Yeah, I guess.
So I.
October of 26.
That's soon.
You probably won't be able to get a truck till 28 no matter what though.
Okay, so that's the other side of
That's
it,
the
is
problem.
do you need to talk about it a year ahead of time?
No, let's not.
you sure?
Yeah. Cause I
What's-
say
what's the-
regardless, in the fall of 26, we're gonna know the health of that truck anyway.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it should show something by then. I
Or
would
maybe
think.
just wait till then?
Yeah, I think that's kind of what we were saying, yeah.
I'll put it
That'd
on
be
the
good.
list.
October of 26.
Be a good time frame to talk about it again.
Sure.
No action taken. All right. Moving on, discuss and consider attendees for WTA 2025 Spring Road School, April 21st through the 23rd. Dan went last year. I don't know, do you think
I mean,
we should go again or?
it was all right. I mean, did I learn anything? Not, I don't think anything that I didn't already know. I thought they would talk a little bit more about some things in depth last year, and they really didn't. They just kind of introduced it to you and stuff. So, and I noticed there was one new thing this year. The invasive species, noxious weed stuff. I see that's on there this year. That was not on there last year at all. And then, yeah, chip searing, engineering, all that stuff was on there, like, LRIP, that stuff was there. A lot of this is just, I don't know, I think it's more for if you have a new superintendent, this would be really good, an eye opener for them, you know, to like teach them some things that if they weren't aware of it. Yeah, the small bridge thing is on there again.
So I'm hearing a no.
I mean, I myself wouldn't go. I mean, if you wanted to send Justin to maybe the noxious weed thing, that'd be something, but.
Who do they bring in to do these classes and stuff?
Oh, various people.
There's, yeah, some guys are independent contractors, some guys are actually from the States. It does give a list there somewhere.
Yeah, underneath the description of the topic, they have who's going to put it on.
The one for the noxious weeds was some private contractor.
Yeah.
And see who does the one above it.
Get out. I didn't notice, I didn't look at that one.
What am I missing?
Yeah, so yeah, I think the chip sealing them guys, that was like Scott's last year, and that was just a big sales pitch is all it was for the most part. There was a couple other things like that. The 6 to 20 was actually a state representative though. That was like the one thing that I needed to hear last year because you know we were going through that. But now that'll be repetitive now.
Okay.
And I don't know, are they gonna come out with anything to that, 6 to 20?
Hearing a no?
No.
Okay. Don't send anyone. Next item, Public Works Department Activity Report, road right-of-way permits.
No road right permits, I know of. Haven't seen any of those in quite a while. Public Works activity, been plowing snow now.
Question on road right-of-way permits. should we be changing the ordinance where if they work in the road right away and they have a
Head, yeah,
head?
we talked about that a while ago, yeah.
Yeah, that they have to have it marked so it's visible to you when you're mowing?
Yeah, an orange marker. Cause I looked through our ordinance, we don't have anything listed as far as, notification of a PED. We just have location of where a PED should be placed. It's
Yeah.
at the edge of right of way, so. Which most of them are, but not always. Yeah, that was one thing.
I think we should make them mark them if they're going to
Yeah,
be more than a couple inches off the ground where the mower wouldn't hit it. That they have to have a,
yeah, if they're not 3 feet tall, we aren't seeing them when it's beat grass growing
No.
season, so.
and then when we do, we have to fight with them that they didn't have it marked.
Yeah, I've got that, I got like 3 things written down in my office for ordinance updating, that if we're gonna do some of that, do it all at once.
If you didn't work on that, maybe for the upcoming agenda sometime,
Yeah.
one of them.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, then we've been plowing snow, for the cold weather. I've noticed I don't think the salt brine really did anything as far as the putting it down before it snowed. It didn't seem to really penetrate or do anything in the intersections or anything. So we try not to use it anywhere that a wind would blow that would attract snow, but yeah, we use it in most of the intersections. And I didn't see anything melt through or anything. I don't know. It didn't work real well in that ice either. I don't know if you guys noticed that. We kind of could tell in the ice where we had put it down, but it really didn't enhance traction or anything like that, so.
How would it be if you did, well, we got one truck with that on, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just thinking that if you did it maybe with
The application of the
when-
salt.
yeah, when you're out there doing your stuff,
Yeah.
you know, after,
That'd be the one thing I'd be curious on
right
too.
on the snow even, you know.
Yeah, I'd have to see what it costs to actually add that tank and that nozzle to the truck. Cause I was thinking maybe we put on Dan's if we did try it, cause he's in the heavier traffic area. He does the gas and Violet's hoping them. I think that would tell us right away if it works or not.
Yeah, that might be the way to do it.
Pre-wetting.
Well, it's pre-wetting the salt as you're putting it down. They say it stops the salt from bouncing and then it activates it right away, right? So you're basically putting a liquid down.
The salt isn't doing much at 5 below, 10 below zero at all, right?
No, it worked today though. The sun was really
They
opening
got
up.
sun,
yeah.
If we get some more sun tomorrow, I'm gonna go around and salt some more stuff. We noticed it was working this afternoon, so. I know we had a lot of drifting and stuff this weekend that we were after, so. We don't really like to put salt down when it's drifting, cause that makes it worse.
No.
Yeah.
How'd your burn pile go?
What's that?
How'd your burn pile go?
Good, no calls. It's still smoldering.
Is it?
It's,
You're standing back
I
there.
mixed
warming
it
the
up on
hooves.
Friday before I left, and yeah, it's still going back there. There's still a couple big logs in there,
Yeah.
but yeah, no calls that I know of on it. Nick, I
I was
talked to Nick.
surprised after it got going, it wasn't near as smoky as I thought it would be.
No, it was pretty much all wood. There was
Yeah.
no leaves or brushy stuff to it at all. It was just all wood, but
And the wind was out of the north to
Yeah.
blow it away.
we had 90-foot flames. And I thought for sure we'd get called.
Yeah.
It got really hot really quick.
Good to be rid of it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, hopefully it doesn't accumulate as fast as it did last time.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's all I had.
All right. Clerk treasurer office update.
We finished up collecting the first installment of taxes, obviously. Auditors were here last Friday. I think that went okay. Election tomorrow, primary. Well, that's enough. I'm on jury duty in March, so we'll see what that
Lucky
leads to.
you. Sweet. Just walked in the door yelling, guilty, 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 guilty.
The other ones will be here if I'm not, I guess. That's all I know.
Did you find a cure for the doors when we rent?
Yeah, we have a plan all worked out for that, and Jen's been took on that project of notifying everybody what their codes are, and so she's, for the most part, put out all the codes. She's working out some kinks with some of these people that rent, every other Thursday or that kind of stuff. She's got a few of those she's still working on, but we put codes out like to all the Lions, all the Historical Society, all those people, and we told them to try their code and turn their key in. We're gonna be changing the locks sometime right after the first of the month, once we're sure that everybody, or at least as many of them that actually respond, are getting in okay with their codes, and, but that'll be a cutoff, and at some point they'll be out of luck, their key won't work anymore. We do have to leave, so all these doors have, the master key works, so you all have a master key. The master key works and it will still work, but then there's also the entry key, and that's what we have handed out to renters and scout groups and all that kind of thing, and that gets them into the hall here, but they can't get into any of the offices. So that entry key will go away. The only thing we're gonna have to do is the one door down at the bottom, all the doors down here work with that entry key too. But the one door is gonna have to stay with an entry key because the Legion has storage in there. So they'll keep that entry key. They'll be the only ones that'll have that entry key anymore. The rest of all the entry keys will go away. And then like janitor and the building inspector have their keys to get into the offices once they get in here. So you'll still have a master key. You can still get in any of the doors, including the front door, but use your code when you come in the front door. And it's nice because we can tell, who's in and out too. And then at Flynn Hall, they will go in the back door, it'll lock behind them, they'll open up the front door for their company. We can programmatically make it so it stays open. So like if the Lions are having a blood drive and they want the back door open for that morning, unlocked, we can unlock it and then lock it, program it to lock when they're done. So we can do a lot of that kind of stuff programmatically.
So you don't want us going in through that door anymore?
No, you can.
Oh,
Through what door?
through the back door?
Oh, you can,
Oh.
you can, and your master key will still work back there. But what we don't want you to do is unlock the front door because it's still a deadbolt, more or less, or, it's still a lock. But the way it works is there's a clasp that grabs that. And so when you unlock it with, programmatically or with your code, it opens this up and the thing still goes like this all the time. It's still locked. It's like the deadbolt is still out. So if you lock it or unlock it with your door and forget about it, nothing works anymore because there's nothing to grab anymore. If you get what I'm saying. So we don't want you to, and also, it also knows every time the thing goes in and out of that. And so we can see every door open and close. We can see if the door gets propped open. We can see stuff like that. So we would rather unlock the door with the codes than the keys, when you come in that door.
But when you unlock it with the code, it locks right after
It
you.
locks right after you. We can program it for certain users to not lock, and then we can program it to lock like when they're leaving.
Is that what you're going to do if it's rented to
Yeah,
someone?
for this building, for the Flynn Hall, we're not gonna do that. We're gonna say, open the front door and let your people in. Unless it's like the Lions or somebody that's having an event and they tell us, and then we'll program it to stay open.
If
But-
they manually unlock the rear door for the Lions?
The front door.
No, if they,
The rear door does not unlock,
is that key only?
only a keypad.
Yeah, it's only keypad.
There is no
Okay.
lock in the door handle at Flynn Hall, in the rear door.
Because they have some people that have to use the rear
Yeah.
door.
Yeah, well, they can be let in then.
Yeah, they can let them in. And yeah,
So when you put your code in, do you have to do anything else?
pound.
Oh, pound, okay. Because last week or so, I came in and got the stuff and I didn't realize that.
Yeah, I think Jen.
It was fairly dark,
Jen
actually,
put
I
that
thought.
in all of her emails, I think,
Yeah.
but anyway, so yeah, and we can so what we'll do here is we'll program it, like if they're gonna have a party here from noon to 5, okay, we'll program it so that it stays open when they come in. And then we'll lock it at 5. We'll set a program to lock it at 5. And like I have a program that locks both doors at 10 o'clock every night, just to make sure nobody left something open, or, we can program in a lot of safeguards like that. So we have all that programmed in, but, so it just took some schedules and programs and stuff to set up.
You do that from here?
Yeah.
No kidding, eh?
And it's all, or home or whatever.
Do it
It's
from
on
your
my,
phone.
it's on my phone. I
Okay.
can do it, it's on the computer, so that's how we mostly do it. But like I can see on my phone at home, I can see every time somebody comes in and out if I want to. Also, the Ring camera tells me.
Anywhere, right?
Wherever I am, yeah, I can see
No, but
that.
I mean,
Any
you
building?
go to any building and look.
Either one of these buildings, there's no cameras at Flynn, but
Oh,
sometimes I think there should be, but this will be nice because we'll be able to tell who's going in and out of Flynn too, so we can get a better idea of who's using it when, and when something is wrong, we know who was the last one in there. That's gonna be nice.
So what would the proper procedure then be if one of us is having a meeting here and that the public is going to be?
Yeah, you can still unlock the door like you always did, but I can also make, and that's what I was gonna ask you, is if you want, I can make you someone that can unlock this door on your phone. We can make you a user.
If you want the app on your
And you can
phone.
put the app on your phone and then you can unlock the door.
I don't need to do that.
I don't need that.
But you can still unlock it, you just gotta remember to lock it when you leave, which, you're used to. That still works. So,
And we're leaving the inner door unlocked in perpetuity.
yeah, I might lock it tonight because that means nobody can get in, for the
Because of the
election. But
Oh.
but that lock does not work all the time with a key, so that's why I have it taped over, because every once in a while it wasn't working with a key and the janitor couldn't get in.
Are we
So
gonna have them replace it?
I don't think so,
Okay.
because we'll just won't lock it unless there's some reason we don't want anybody to come in that way. It's a kind of an extra safeguard. Yeah.
So you said that Flynn Hall will lock. I plug in my code, I get into Flynn Hall and it locks behind me.
It locks behind you.
But this door
This
is.
door does too.
Oh, it does, okay.
Unless you're, a renter and we set it up not to. But normally it'll lock behind you.
So when I leave, I've had a meeting.
If you've had a meeting and you've used your key to unlock the door, you need to use your key to lock it again,
Lock it.
just like always.
Okay, but I was planning to just use the code.
If you just want to use the code, then
Let you in.
it's gonna
And
let you
locks.
in, but you're gonna have to let everybody else in.
Okay.
Unless.
then
you're-
leaving,
Oh, my.
what do you do to leave? It's gonna be locked, right?
Yeah, but it's got a push paddle.
No, that's all you have to do.
Yeah.
Oh,
just
okay.
push out.
Whew.
You won't get locked in.
Yeah.
We're getting into the 26th century.
Duck Dodgers on the 26th and a half century.
Anything else?
And the driveway letters went out, last few days, those have gone out, so.
Of 7.
Yes, certified. We haven't gotten any back, but there's no mail today, so,
Yeah.
It'd be interesting to see what kind of reaction
yeah,
people.
yeah. I think that's all.
All right, board reports and communications received a letter on January 29th, 2025. The Town of Downtown Board and the Village of McFarland Village Board each passed a resolution authorizing participation in the preparation of a cooperative plan per the requirements in Wisconsin statute. The Village of McFarland is providing written notice of this resolution within 5 days after its adoption. The Town of Dunn and Village of McFarland plan to hold a public hearing regarding the cooperative plan on April 29th, 2025.
Interesting.
If you have any comments on the plan, please submit them in writing before, at, or within 20 days following the public hearing. A copy of the cooperative plan is available for review at whatever encloses their resolution, so I don't know, you can have it.
Well, I wonder why the town of Dunn would want to do that.
I
Doesn't
think
even
it's
make
better
sense.
to,
Because,
probably the same
They
reason why
border.
we went with the city of Madison.
and they
Well,
had
that
a
could be,
co-op plan with them.
Yeah.
Is this something I should just mention to Mark Roffers so that he's aware?
Yeah, I would think.
I
so.
would say, cause
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. Would give something to him to take a, or keep an
Look
eye on,
at.
I should say.
Yeah, we should keep an eye on it.
That's all that I had. Committee reports, landfill, we met, we paid the bills.
We have a sinkhole.
He knows
We do?
about it.
Yeah,
Yeah, I took a look at it before we got snow, so I know where it's at.
How big? Oh, it's not
2
bad.
foot by 3 foot.
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
it's not bad.
Where,
That's land.
that's the landfill?
It would catch my tire on the tractor pretty good though. If I
I
wouldn't
bet you it
saw
would.
first.
What's that?
If I wouldn't have, if I wouldn't have been aware of it first, yeah,
Yeah,
I probably would have dropped right in that pretty good.
Fill it up and seed it.
Yeah.
Kites Grove Fire.
well, after the April election, it'll be very interesting to see.
What
It's gonna be a
happens?
complete changeover of village representatives on the committee.
Got some good people running.
They have to get elected though.
Yes, well, there aren't that many people running. They gotta win some spots, you know?
The village
They're
did
still-
not,
Still on a 5-year plan. They didn't approve anything.
I don't know if you guys are aware, well, Mike or Christie, that up until 2025, both the town and the village had contributed money to the ESB repair fund. It was what, 20 grand, I
20
think, a year?
grand.
That's what we were doing. We
Yeah.
started out at 10 and somewhere
Anyway,
in
the
the
village
last 20
says,
years. it
nah,
went
we're not
20.
gonna do it anymore.
You mean that ESP, what is that?
The
Emergency
ESB repair
services
fund, it just kind of a,
For,
yeah, big unexpected projects. at
yeah,
the-
okay, I got it.
Yeah, and,
Who said they're not gonna do it?
Village.
The village. They
and
wanted
here's the
first-
killer. Oh, if we need the money, we'll just borrow it, and that came from the village president.
They're at 33 million in debt right now, and if they go with the sheriff's department and the library, it'd be 60. And the
Yeah,
group
that's
that's
just
running
kinda
is
the
against,
attitude. It's just like-
against
And
the
their
stuff.
their
So-
first suggestion was to cap the fund at $50,000. And then you suggested it was cap it at 100. And I said cap it at 180 for the new roof. And they just,
Because they also mentioned the fact that they weren't able to fund the additional positions that they need for 25. They didn't go into any details,
Additional
but
positions.
positions of village employees.
yeah.
So-
And it was plural.
So many
Well, they should-
village employees.
Matt Geezy asked for, I think, $200,000, you said, to increase his wages. Matt Geezy.
He wanted an
And there's
additional
still not
200,
one
He
person,
he wants to bump his wages up to
200.
$200,000 a year. Oh my God. And he doesn't even live here.
none of the people in the office live in the village or the town.
No.
Then you wonder why they got problems. Jeez.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, the next problem the fire's going to have is getting volunteers to respond to calls. And they're going to be looking at bringing us proposals for paid on call or some form to try to incentivize the volunteers to come when the call goes out. I don't know how the village will feel about that or how we will, but
Well, you gotta make it good or not make it at all, Jesus. This is crazy.
A lot of it comes down to employers too.
What's that?
A lot of it comes down to employers too, who will let you go to a call.
Exactly.
Yeah,
but we meet next Monday night,
Yeehaw.
isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah.
God, that's
So we'll see. And you have to do the agenda, right?
No,
Because she's not gonna be
Mike
here.
Williams is gonna, or is
John.
gonna do, John Williams was gonna do the agenda. I don't know, have you heard?
No, I haven't heard a word.
I thought you were the vice.
Am I?
Yes.
I don't know. Do
I'm
they
the
have a vice?
secretary. That's all I gotta do.
Yeah, I thought you were the vice
yeah,
chair,
you're
so
correct, you
you
are
have to run
correct.
the meeting because Sarah wasn't gonna be here. So. All right, emergency government.
We had a really good meeting.
Yeah, we met our new director.
Andrew Beckett, the new guy from Kane County was here and we talked probably an hour and a half or 2 hours. It's about, we also talked about that we probably have really the only emergency government. Usually it's the town clerk at other places and stuff. And so we looked at trying to bring the emergency government person over and have a meeting, the ones around us. And I don't know how that's gonna work. But we can try it.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else?
We adjourn.
Deer Grove EMS has meeting this Thursday.
What's that?
Deer Grove EMS Commission is meeting this Thursday.
You're on that.
Yes.
Take charge. Kick some butt.
It's going to be.
You can do it.
It's going to be interesting.
Where's that, what movie is that from?
You can do it, the water boy.
That's it.
You can do it.
Move we adjourn.
Second.
Motion by Duplace, second by William. It's non-debatable. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
Is that your mask down there, Steve?
Stay warm tomorrow, tonight.
Tonight.
Supposed to get down to like 30.